So the Lord has suggested some things to us in addition to asking for miracles or healings and all those things that we can normally ask for. The Lord has suggested to us that we remember the things that we did wrong, confess, know that they were, and then profit from them, as I profit all the time from my prison experience, my being shot at by the police, being beaten by the police. I profit from that all the time. I did wrong. Had I not ran and had I not been a criminal, I never would have been arrested. That's just how that is, And I profit from that. I try to help all the other people that are getting shot and being in prison. That if you don't go out there, it ain't gonna happen to you. That's just how that is. So we're going to continue with this. That God's given us a knowledge that He hadn't given to the people in Cambridge and Oxford and Harvard. And we're going to learn how to shame the pain. The way Principal Bowman was able to talk about her rebellion to the church when her daughter was in school. We're going to learn how to shame the pain. Now, here's what you got to do. You'll shame the pain. Now, many of the things that you have done from your youth up, many of them were painful. Painful to people that were participants in it, whether they were voluntary or involuntary, willingly or unwillingly. Very painful. And you're going to have to learn how to shame that pain. You're going to walk in such a way, you're going to tell people, don't do what I did. Don't go down the road that I went down. The song by Elvis Presley that said, little sister, don't do what your big sister did, done. It's a great song from the 1960s. Little sister, don't do what your big sister done. Shame the pain. Shame the pain. Shame the pain. Don't do what I did. Now, I want to give you an example because I want to show you something here that the Lord's given us the opportunity to do this. If you don't do it, you need to understand that, and I can't get to it today, these casino-type churches that they gamble with God. I'll do it, and then I'll ask for forgiveness. I'll do it, and I'll ask for forgiveness. Oh, the Lord, the Billy Graham casino-type church, I can't get to it today. I just won't have enough time. But they're the Billy Graham casino-type churches, sin and then get forgiven. Sin and then, it's crazy. It's gambling. It's rolling the roulette wheel, blackjack table. It's what Billy Graham and Joel Osteen and T.D. Jakes and all them people do. But listen, shame the pain. Shame the pain. Shame the pain. Listen, I read an example yesterday about a rich man named Dives and a poor man named Lazarus in the book, the Gospel of St. Luke, I think starting somewhere around the first verse thereof. And the Bible, Jesus tells us as a parable about the rich man had it going on. He fared sumptuously every day. He wore purple, that was exquisite color. I'll tell you about how purple comes from the oysters of the sea. But he wore purple. He had plenty of food. And Lazarus was a poor man that was at his gate sick. The dogs licked his sores, and both of them died, the Bible said. Mr. Engineer, I don't know if you have that, but both of them died in Luke's Gospel, chapter 16. I get it. And you'll catch up with me, Mr. Engineer. All right. Yeah. All right. Do we have the right verse there? All right. Yeah. Okay. The engineer's pulling it right up. There was a certain man, rich man, which was clothed in purple, and he fared fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. Go ahead. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores and designed to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. It came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. And the rich man died also and was buried. And in hell, the rich man lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and see if Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good thing, and likewise Lazarus evil thing, but now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. And besides all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from here to you cannot, neither can they pass to us from that will come from hence. And then he said, I pray thee, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house, for I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come. Now, what the rich man is saying, listen, I did wrong. And there is no forgiveness. I did wrong. I didn't do right. And I tried to get forgiveness. I didn't get it because I wouldn't confess. I wouldn't repent. And now I'm in torment and I want some help, but ain't none coming. So I tell you what, the rich man is saying, well, I'm going to just suffer. But go and tell my brothers, don't do what I did. Little sister, don't do what your big sister done. But go tell my brothers, don't do what I did. I got 5 of them, and they're still alive. They're doing the same thing. Tell them to don't do that. Tell them to fly right, straighten up and fly right. And Abraham said they have Moses and the prophets, and they have Pastor Manning, and they won't hear him. They're not going to hear you. So I think it's important that we understand when we come to shame and the pain, you got to confess. You got to confess before it's too late. Shame the pain. And then the other thing is that you need to know there's a time when there is no forgiveness. This parable said that Abraham wouldn't forgive him, and he wouldn't help him. That there's a time when the door closes and there is no forgiveness. This is symbolic. It's where Jesus was baptized. It's where John baptized. And so this is not a rebaptism. It's just a symbolic, if you will, act of what we're going to do, being in the water at the place where Jesus was baptized. And what I'd like to do is to baptize today that we would come to terms with the understanding of what God is calling for in righteousness. He's not calling for prosperity. He isn't calling for culturalism. God is calling for righteousness. If we would commit ourselves to fulfill all righteousness, and God has called us to be persecuted for righteousness' sake, as John was persecuted for righteousness, and so Jesus. I got to tell you that I'll never forget this experience of actually stepping in the water where Jesus were baptized, and where John has baptized so many people. This is such a historic and a powerful, powerful sight. Just to touch the water was so critical. And I'm glad that people got baptized to have that experience. It was a safe experience and a great experience. I'm not even going to change my clothes. I want to just stay in baptism mode until I get back to the hotel. So that's what I want to say. All right.
This has been live from the Jordan River. God bless you all. Peace.
Righteousness. Boom, chakalaka goes right there.
Over the years, we have served more than 1 million meals to hungry bellies and hungry people here in the Harlem community. And I wanted you to be able to see that. I want you to see our involvement with youth, our summer youth programs, our courtyard being used as a place where children can be safe, guarded, and protected as they have their miniature swimming pools. And a safe place for children to eat that is guarded, that is protected by our own sense of security, and the wholesome and fresh meals that we serve. We wanted you to be able to see the mission of this church. And we've been doing this for years. Just recently, one of our members, more than a 30-year member of this church, but it hasn't, not one that that you would probably find as members of some other churches with their nose stuck up in the air. But her father is now close to death or very sick in the state of South Carolina. And I said to her, well, because she doesn't have money, I said, we will buy you a bus ticket, a round trip bus or train ticket for you to travel to South Carolina to be with your father in this time of pandemic. There's very little funding around. There's sickness everywhere. And the thing that just blew me away was she said, as she was talking to Elizabeth, she said, but how are you going to do that? To pay for me a round trip ticket to travel and give me expense money? And because Pastor Manning has to feed the children, he has to educate the children, he has to buy school supplies for them. He has to pick them up in the mornings and take them back. And then he's got the ministry he has to take care of, all the bills of running the church, of keeping a major house like our house operational, keep the lights on, how are you going to be able to do that? And she was almost reluctant to take the money because she felt that it would be better served by feeding the children. We gave it to her anyway. But we want you to know that we do a work in this community. There have been a lot of lies told on us. And it's almost unimaginable why some of the people that have lied on us. But I can tell you behind all of it is the LGBTQ community. Hallelujah. They don't want us to be successful, but we are, and we're going to continue to be successful in serving the meals that we're serving and serving the people that we are. And the LGBTQ community will not take us down. They are not going to take our church. Yet they've defamed us. They've written ugly newspaper articles about us. They've marched against us. They've done a whole lot of ugly things. But you see what we have done, and that's not even the half of our service to children and to the needy in terms of our homeless shelters and the things that we've done over the years. And we will continue. And probably the lies and the smears and the ugly newspaper articles and the wicked spirits and the so-called I ain't for the black man, that is not going to go away. I don't expect it to go away. I don't. But I do tell you this, that we will succeed against all of that, for God is with us, and I am his servant.